So, hello everyone, this is the Pro Motori channel. Today our video will be about checking injectors. So I've moved to another workshop, you could say I'm visiting. It's all because there's an injector test bench here. I'll show you more details, explain, and so on. So what's in today's video? In today's video, I'll show you how injectors are tested, what the test bench looks like, how the diesel fuel is sprayed from the nozzle, and so on. So I found different injectors I have. These are injectors that have already been repaired and are ready to be installed on the engine. That is, a set of 6 injectors has already been repaired, checked, bench tested, and so on. So they should be in perfect condition, just excellent and fully functional. I just found some old injectors on my shelves. For example, you can see this is a MAN injector. Well, here we see different nozzles. The bodies are a bit different. Here the MAN injector has a bolt-on return line. Here the Mercedes injector has a hose return line, and so on. Also, the pressure will be different on these injectors. For example, on this injector, the pressure should be about 175 bar, give or take 10%. Actually, it's more like minus 10% because the injectors are already old. The spring has weakened, the washer is probably worn out, and so on. So here the pressure should be lower. Well, if they're even working at all, maybe the needle is already stuck here, for example, and it's just pouring fuel. On this injector, the pressure should be around 200 bar, also give or take. Most likely it'll be on the lower side. On this one, it's also around 200 bar. These injectors should already show about 280 bar, but since they've been repaired, and after repair, they usually set a bit higher. I think they should show around 290, somewhere in that range. Well, I don't know for sure. I'm just guessing for now. We'll check it in a moment. So that's what today's video will be about, checking the injectors. I'll also try to record in slow motion how the spray looks. Well, I'll do my best, but I don't know how well it'll work because, you know, the injector sprays, diesel fuel splashes, how to set up the camera so it doesn't get heat and so on. So we'll see and figure it out. Now, about the test bench, what is the test bench like? Our test bench is basically like this. It's essentially a tank. Inside there's a cylinder that creates pressure. You can see it's firmly attached to the table. And that's it. Just a lever. Diesel fuel is poured in here. There's a pressure gauge rated for 400 kilograms of force and of course a tube. The injector is attached to this end of the tube. So the injector sprays diesel fuel into this tank, and this tank is also used for washing things. Well, it's clear that when spraying, not all of the injector's output goes directly into the tank, because the diesel fuel turns into an aerosol, into tiny little droplets like dust. Right? It ends up spreading through the whole workshop like dust. I'll show you now. We pump it like this. We can see diesel fuel is being supplied there. So, we'll start the inspection with these injectors that have already been repaired. Well, maybe we'll check all of them, maybe just one or two. We'll see now. Alright, let's get started. So we can see that it activates at around 280 or so. So we see that it holds at 280 and just barely goes over 280 before it activates. So I've checked all the injectors that have been repaired and they're all working great. The spray, the pressure, everything is just excellent. Now let's move on to the injectors that are used, the old ones. Here, it's possible that some of them have good nozzles. It might be not working at all. I just don't know. Now we'll check these three injectors and compare how the new nozzle works and how the old nozzle, which has already been used, works. You can clearly see how the old nozzle works. There's no characteristic sound, no spray. This is definitely 100% a faulty injector, 100% a faulty nozzle. So on this side we have no jet at all. On this side it's powerful and here it's kind of average. And there's absolutely no spray. So as we can see, there's no fuel mist, just streams and drops coming out. This injector is supposed to operate at 175 atmospheres. It's working at about 165, so it's 10 atmospheres less. Well, that's basically normal. Alright, now let's check one more injector. And I think there's no point in checking all of them. It's pretty clear how a fully working injector operates. And how the nozzle that has already been used works and sprays. Alright, let's try it on the man injector as well and see. So in terms of pressure, it also activates at around 180, although it should activate at 200. We can also see that it doesn't hold the pressure. There's a droplet hanging. If we apply pressure, there's a droplet hanging from the nozzle, or there are streams coming out. So this nozzle is also not working. But if we make quicker strokes, it might still work somehow. Well, let's see now, for example. So, when we make quicker strokes, it still somehow works. But if we check without quick strokes, we see that the nozzle doesn't hold and streams come out. Or, for example, if it's very slow, we just get drops. See, right? The drop is hanging and it drips. So, this shouldn't happen either. This means our nozzle is faulty. If this injector were installed in a car, the car would still work somehow, because if we make these sharp hits, it does spray. But if possible, this injector should be sent for repair. You need to replace the nozzle, add a new washer, and so on. Alright, that's it. So this is how I check the injectors. We can see that these 6, which I will be installing on the engine, are just in perfect condition. These 3 injectors that I found randomly in my workshop are all faulty. That's it. So this was a short video about checking injectors. Thank you all for watching. Good luck to everyone. Goodbye.